reaches 1993, yes, as long ago as that, and the All Time Festive 50 covers 45 to 41 inclusive. This is Persil.
Did you dream of your ex last night? Cause you slept with his wife last night. Hang accents loyalty, jealousy. Well, watch your week. Keep an eye on your waistline, your waistline. Your lifeline's here.
What a great tune that is, too. Shifty Disco Records, Persil the band, from Holland, and that's called Agony Aunt. And incidentally, if you were listening to last night's programme, I really do apologise for the last half hour of it, because I've been up, as I kept pointing out, since about 5:45 in the morning, and really was drifting in and out of consciousness, and I could barely speak, and I played two records at the wrong speed and the B-side of another, and all of this during the All Time Festive 50, so I did mess up, and I was livid with myself when I went off to bed, and I do apologise, and it won't occur again tonight. Anyway, that was Persil, and we're hoping to encounter them over the weekend, because Anita, the producer, and Lynn, the office junior, although I don't like calling her that anymore. Anyway, Lynn and myself and Anita are going to Groningen in in, what is it for? Some European Broadcasting... Eurosonic, there you go, what a catchy name. Along with Hefner, and we'll be recording them, and you'll be able to hear that on Tuesday night's programme, and other bits about Holland as well, and Dutch records and things, lots of other stuff. This is Brian and Tony Gold.
Guide me, oh Lord, I pray, while I'm on my way, each and every day. I need in this life, 'cause it's the only way I will survive. Take a little time to look inside your heart and tell me, are you living right? Do you give true praise to the Most High? Some of us are quick to criticize another man's life. First we must look at our own. Now any man with no sin cast the first stone. Don't condemn me 'cause I made mistakes, I guess, along the way. It's a game of a life, and sometimes I don't know how to play. I'm not perfect, but I never wanna lose my soul. Ain't no secret that the Father has control. I'm not perfect, but I hope I never lose my way. Ain't no secret, all I need to do is kneel and pray. At some point in our lives, everyone needs a helping hand. 'Cause when you're down on your luck, that's the only time you're really gonna understand. You can try all you want, things don't always go as planned. You build your house on a rock, suddenly you end up in a sinking sand. No, don't tell me 'cause I made a mistake, I guess along the way. 'Cause it's the game of life, and sometimes I don't know how to play. I'm not perfect, but I never wanna lose my soul. Ain't no secret that the Father has full control. I'm not perfect, but I hope I never lose my way. Ain't no secret, all I need to do is kneel and pray. All you need to do is kneel and pray. From the perils in life and the war and crime, Lord, rescue me, and if I'm losing my way every night and day, strengthen me. I said I'm not perfect, but I hope I never lose my way. Ain't no secret, all I need to do is kneel and pray. I'm not perfect, but I never wanna lose.
Such a great record on Kicking Records from Kingston. That's Brian and Tony Gold, and it's called Not Perfect. And a week or so ago I played some tracks from an LP by Scream Feeder from Australia, cover versions of things by The Who and David Bowie and the Beatles and so forth. The LP is called Home Age, and I did say at the time that they also covered a song from Sesame Street called The Word Is No.
No walking, no biking, no swimming, no hiking, no driving too fast or slow. And the world is no, and the world is no, and the world is no camping,
That's so typical, you know. How many places do you go to where the first thing you see is a list of things that you can't do? Very English, but increasingly very global, and it's one of those things that enrages me, I have to say. Scream Feeder and a tune from Sesame Street. More people should do cover versions of things from Sesame Street. That's called The Word Is No, from an LP called Home Age. And if you want to send us an email, Floss is in charge of the emails tonight, john.peel@bbc.co.uk, and already they're pouring, well, not pouring in, but if you've had one or two, certainly. This is Breakestra.
1, 2, 3, hit!
I think we all want to rock, but can I listen to the news first? This is Breakestra, Get Your Soul Together, and it's on Stone's Throw Records, which is apparently Peanut Butter Wolf's record label. And Anita, the producer, has emailed him several times to get more information about the label and to find out what's going on. And we get no response at all, do we? No reaction whatsoever. So Peanut or Butter or Wolf or whatever you call it, get your ass together, because we want to know what's going on with Stone's Throw Records. This is the High Fidelity, Sean Dixon and pals. We love them, really. LP coming in January. I hope it's not one of those things like the Clinic LP that simply never happens. The High Fidelity on Plastique Records. I Thank You, which is written as one word. Sean Dixon and pals. Excellent stuff. This is Justin Bercovey. I believe we love him too, actually. Do we love Justin? We love Justin. Justin Burkovi on Heart House Records from the LP In the Bag, and that's called Corrado. And I was interested and indeed pleased this week to see that the NME was getting around to acknowledging the fact that there are some quite interesting new bands in the United States. Here's one of them. This is The Go.
Okay, you're rolling.
We're rolling. Promising, I'd say. That's The Go, Meet Me at the Movies, from an LP called What You Doing. It's on Sub Pop Records, and I still have a great deal of sympathy and affection for Sub Pop Records, and indeed I'm waiting their mail-order grunge starter pack that I ordered 4 or 5 years ago, along with the free Tad EP. This is Pulse Programming. A lot of tittering going on in the background. That's on Aesthetics Records from Chicago, Illinois. Yes, that's Chicago. It's by Pulse Programming. That's the voice coughing. They're preparing herself for for announcing the P-Millennium in a few moments' time, in something like 5 or 6 minutes' time, actually. Pulse Programming, and that's called Gesture. Are you ready, voice? Oh, God, how pathetic. Right, this next is from Murray the Hump, from their EP Colouring Book, and the track is called Kebab or Shag. I think these days, frankly, if I was a meat eater, I'd go for kebab.
Kebab or shag, kebab or shag, kebab or shag, kebab or shag. Kebab or shag. Shag or kebab, kebab or shag.
There you go, that's Murray the Hump and Kebab or Shag on Malthouse Records from their EP Colouring Book. And just to show you how much we love you, our listeners, or would do if the police didn't follow us everywhere, last night we got an email from Rowan Smith in Oxford saying, amongst other things, any news when the Hofner Gospel Session will be commercially released. We didn't know the answer to that, but let me remind you once again that you'll be able to hear Hefner on Tuesday night's programme, recorded live at Vera in Groningen in the presence of the people who work on this programme, all three of us. And this is from Rowan Smith. Did I mention that? And he says, well, perhaps it's a she. Actually, I never thought about that. But anyway, Rowan says, thanks for continuing to play such great reggae music. Do you remember Chalice? And the first thing I did when I got home this evening was rush out and find a record by Chalice, specifically this one. This is for you, Rowan.
I'm trying to keep the music from dying. I'm trying to keep the music from dying. How do you feel when the sounds of the rockers are clap? And your brother is calling out to you. And how do you feel when the sounds of the rhythm are drop? And your sister is bawling out to you. Why she say, music is a feeling, just a irie little feeling when you're getting down. Music is a feeling, just a irie little feeling when you're getting down. I'm trying to keep the music from dying. I'm trying to keep the music from dying. How do you feel when the
drum just a rattle and the bass just a trample, and your brother is calling out to you. And when this your time, come and drink up the wine, and everybody lock down and jam down is calling out to you. Wah, wah, wait, yeah.
We do look after you, we really do. That's that's Chalice from, well, quite a long time ago, actually, a good 10, 15 years ago. I'm Trying is the title of it, on pipe music. And it's time for you to step forward and do your work here, Voice, if you're up to it. I've forgotten, incidentally, that there's a newspaper called The Voice. I've got a copy of it for you in my bag. It's 1993. Okay.
Millennium 1993.
It's all made of gold. 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 It's all made of gold.
shall still refuse to worship you.
Don't need to wind, but I can wind up
but he never meant a goddamn thing to me. Instead of straight out fascist, just like John Wayne. Elvis sucked. Little Hawaii may have been cool when he came home on acid at 3 in the morning from the city nightclub, and all the colors blended together, and Aunt Margaret was wearing a bikini and go-go dancing. But it doesn't keep Elvis from being some sort of closet Nazi. Was a hero to most, but he never meant a goddamn thing to me. Said a straight out fascist, just like John Wayne. Nietzsche was a hero to most, but he never meant a goddamn thing to me. Said a straight out fascist, just like John Wayne. Nietzsche was a hero to most. Nietzsche sucked. Sartre sucks. Existentialism sucks. Nihilism sucks. Just because everybody's the one thing that makes things better, miserable, cruel, evil, ugly, disgusting, horrible. Doesn't have to be a bad thing, because in this we find one thing that brings us together as a people, that unites us as a species, it gives us commonality. We all suck and that makes us strong. They've got the guns, they've got the numbers. I suck, I suck, I suck, I suck, I suck, I suck, 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 I suck, I suck, I suck, I suck, 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 I suck. We all suck. Everybody sucks. It may be cliche by now. Oh. You're looking at
Brother Kershaw and I both hysterical for that one. What a wonderful track it is. In fact, 4 wonderful tracks. So congratulations to Lynn for picking those. First of them was I'm slightly out of breath, actually, I have to admit after that. First of them, just such a great record by Paul Smales recording his New Decade. Where is Paul now? Wherever he is, I hope he's happy and doing what he wants to do, because to have made a record as good as that is something which I've never done, and the possibility exists that you haven't either. Statue of Gold was the title of that. That was followed by Elastica and Stutter. Then I Suck by the New Bad Things. And finally, Bitumba by Shabaka Hamba. And let's see what, according to Lynn, happened in 1993. In January, the European Commission's grand design to create a Europe without frontiers finally came into being. It consisted of a single market stretching from the Arctic to the Mediterranean and from the Atlantic to the Oder. Czechoslovakia ceased to exist at midnight on January the 1st. The country's 15.6 million inhabitants became citizens of either Slovakia or the Czech Republic, known also by its traditional name of Czechland. I never knew that, actually, I must admit. In February, the Queen joined her subjects in paying full rates of income tax and capital gains tax on her private income. Her tax bill came to around £2 million. In June, Lord Owen was forced to admit that months of UN and EC diplomacy aimed at bringing peace to Bosnia had completely failed. In July, Stella Rimington, the first woman head of MI5, broke new ground by meeting the press and revealing details of her organisation's work. In October, the Nobel Peace Prize was awarded jointly to President de Klerk of South Africa and Nelson Mandela, President of the African National Congress, for their work to end apartheid peacefully. In December, John Major and Albert Reynolds, Prime Ministers of Britain and Ireland, signed a historic declaration designed to bring peace to Ireland. And in December also, Aborigines celebrated off the Australian Parliament passed the Native Title Bill, which confirmed their right to claim for land that had been lost when Europeans colonised Australia more than 200 years ago. And while I'm doing a lot of chatting, let's have a look at some of these emails. Here's one from Dead Man Jones, it says. And he says, just wandered onto the Radio 1 website to find out what you looked like in the studio, only to find the webcam out of commission and a black and white test card in its place. This is exactly the sort of refreshing inefficiency that I've come to rely upon in these supposedly perfect times. Well, one of the main reasons for this, Dead Man Jones, is the fact that we're not in the studio in London. I'm at home, and there isn't, thank God, any kind of camera in here monitoring everything that I do. And he goes on to say, while I'm on, am I the only person to find it astonishing not to find anything from Muse in the 50s, especially after the play that you and Steve have given the band? Well, as Anita, the producer, who's sitting behind me, and Lynn, the office junior, who's sitting behind her, can confirm, we've never played a single track by Muse on the radio. I'm afraid, Dead Man Jones, you got that fantastically and spectacularly wrong. Not a single Muse track has been played on this programme. Right, and Andy in Bude says, just found a fab language translator on the web. Apparently the Spanish for the John Peel show is La Demostración de la Cascada de Juan, and it apparently translates back as the demonstration of the rind of Juan. And I won't go over the rest of it, but good to know that you're wasting your time in this rather spectacular manner. And just thought you might want to know that the champs of Spain are being held by the champs of Saudi, 1-1, and Mark and Loud have taken to playing the fall in the afternoons, and which is jolly good. Here's one from Elizabeth Neal, just seeing if I've got the right address. You have, Elizabeth. And finally, here's one from Paul English, mailing from Dublin. What time are you playing 45 to 41 in the All Time Festive 50? I need to rush down to the pub to make Rob and Sarah's engagement party, and I promised myself I would tape the entire Festive 50 All Time in its entirety. Rather redundant there, that's second in entirety, I think, actually, Paul. It says, as soon as you start, I'll hit record and run out of the door. It'll be about 11:20, according to my calculations, in about 19 minutes' time. Here's another track from Lally Poona. This is from the LP on Darla Records, actually, rather than their own. Well, it's in a different version on their own LP. On Little Darla Has a Treat for You, Volume 13. And it says here, for some unaccountable reason, that Lally Poona are from Busan in South Korea, but with names like Valerie Trebalyar and Christoph Brandner and Florian Zimmer, I think that's very unlikely, to be honest. They're not Korean names, are they?
Hace desviou. Esta foi temporada e fica para sempre. Rapariga da banheira, adultério para velho. Rapariga da banheira. terceira temporada e fica para sempre. Rapariga da Banheira, Bactério Paterno. Rapariga da Banheira, Bactério Paterno. Rapariga da Banheira, Bactério Paterno. Rapariga da Banheira, Bactério Paterno.
I just love that track, I must say. That's Rapariga de Banera by Lali Puna, and it's on the LP Little Darla Has a Treat for You, Volume 13 from Darla Records of San Francisco. And it's also a slightly different version on the LP Tridecoder, which is on More Music Records from Germany, I think. And this is Ball Boy from Edinburgh, Donald in the bushes with a bag of glue.
You were hiding in a bush with a bag of glue. Now you're baking cakes for middle-aged ladies, and you're married to a good-looking girl who gets on well with your family. You made your mother proud at last, and I guess that's good enough for me. Yesterday I met the boy I used to spend my Christmas with. He used to be a monk, now he deals cards and seems happy with it. And there's a lot to be said for lifelong love and sex and security. A good-looking girl who gets on well with your family. Religion, it never gave me anything. I can't make decisions, I can't make incisions. And I'm not a poet, but I'm not illiterate. And I can't get used to it, and I can't get through it. magazines. You offered me a gun, then said there were much more trouble than anyone needs. You're still baking cakes for middle-aged ladies. You're still married to a good-looking girl who gets on well with your family. A good-looking girl who gets on well with your family. A good-looking girl who gets on well with your family.
That is a great tune. It's from an EP called Silver Suits for Astronauts on SL Records from Edinburgh. It's by Ball Boy, and it's called Donald in the Bushes with a Bag of Glue. And here's another track from a demo CD that I was sent. And it's... actually, I talked to Lamo about this last night because they're from his part of the world, but he's not actually played anything from it. They're called Cats Against the Bomb, and the names are variously and incredibly Floodman, Fuck Trumpet, and Mixmaster Mick. And the track that I'm going to play here, which I like very much indeed, I've only heard three of them, every one a winner. This one's called Ant Gets Decked.
Yes.
No good if he's going to no folk, he's going to no folk. Yes, cheers, beat boy down in the coach, it's the hood boy. He's going to it's gonna be forever. Yes. No good. Deep right down in the coach, it's the hood boy. Yes, cheers.
Infinitely stupid and just what we want on this programme, I think. That's from a demo by Cats Against the Bomb from Colchester. Ant Gets Decked is not surprisingly the title of it. And here's a track from another one of the records that's recommended by the NME in their survey of new American bands. You must try and keep up, gang. That's them, not you.
of the molten sod illusion of a broken home, of a street fight. It's Friday night alone. It's a bottle that's warming on a shelf. It's feeling just inches away from death. It's a street, it's an icicle, it's a panic attack. It's only a night, yeah. Who takes the broken one by one? Of the molten sod illusion of a broken home. It's a street fight, it's a Friday night alone. It's a bottle warming on a shelf. It's feeling just inches away from death. It's a street, it's a icicle, panic attack. It's only a night, yeah. 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 It's only a night, yeah.
Tips for the top. This is the band with the somewhat cumbersome name of And You Will Know Us by the Trail of Dead on Merge Records, and the track is Mistakes and Regrets. Here's another track from the LP by Muslim Gauze called Lo-Fi Indie or India Abuse. And last time I played one of these, I said everything that happens on this track is supposed to happen. And in fact, I was completely wrong, because the record in some extraordinary way rejected itself. And we'll see if it does it again. This is Valencia in Flames. Valencia in Flames from Muslim Gauze. And Paul English, you can press that button in about 20 seconds' time in Dublin. And an email from Jerry Gill, which our Fossey's just brought in Vancouver in British Columbia, of course, and he says, can you give a big shout out to my pal Toby Spendiff from Norwich? I know he's listening to the programme right now and he'll freak if he hears this, and it'll save me calling long distance. Well, there you go. Pleased to have done that. And it's time to return to the All Time Festive 50, which, as I hinted in last night's programme, is sort of fairly predictable, I have to say. We're about to enter into the traditional aspect of it, I think, in tonight's programme, and but so much so that I felt I'd just do it 5 tracks at a time over 10 nights, rather than try and cram it into 2 or 3 programmes. So, having said that, this is at number 41 in your all-time Festive 50, God only knows. And actually, the Velvet Underground and Nico were playing in Hollywood when I was living in San Bernardino, California, as part of Andy Warhol's, what's it called, Exploding Plastic Inevitable, I think, and they were playing at some particularly trendy place, and as being a chap who's never been overconfident, I like to think, I went to go there and just didn't have the nerve, so went down the road to see the West Coast Pop Art Experimental Band instead, which is something which I thoroughly enjoyed, but I always regret that I never went in to see the Velvet Underground, because they must at that time in a way have been at their absolute peak, and certainly at their most astonishing, and I think I once told somebody that I had gone in to see them, but it wasn't true. It's like Andy Kershaw claims that I told him that I'd been to see Elmore James play, because it was possible he did play in Dallas when I lived in Dallas, but I didn't go and see him. But again, I really wish I had done. Distorted Minds. right, sorry about that. The Voice was just reading out some scandal from, which paper was it, Voice?
That Anita brought.
Anita brought, oh, right, okay. Something which we don't normally allow in the house. That was Distorted Minds on Breakbeat Culture Records, 12-inch, called Typecast. And this last record in tonight's programme, goodness me, the programme has flown, hasn't it? I think it really has. There's going to be more from the Festive 50 in tomorrow night's programme, and the Millennium will reach 1994. And we have a friend, all of us have a friend called George, who we like very much indeed, who comes here sometimes to do engineering when we have live sessions from Peel Acres, and does a lot of stuff for the programme. And he got married recently, and he spent his honeymoon in Cuba and brought me some records back from Cuba. Now, I've always had trouble with Latin music, I'm ashamed to say, but this is pretty darn good, I think. It's called Vente d'Italia. Is that what you said, Lynn? And Lynn speaks Spanish fluently, and it's by Lucrecia y su Orquesta. So...
fatalista, pero se trata que hay que pensar de una manera realista. Hay que vivir con los pies bien pegaditos a la tierra, para cuando esperes paz y se te aparezcan con guerra. Pero por eso yo me voy a despojar con esa batalla, para que todo lo malo de mi cuerpo se vaya. Te lo aconsejo yo. Yo me voy a despojar con esa batalla, para que todo lo malo de mi cuerpo se vaya. La mujer de mi papá me aconsejó el otro día, para que puedas triunfar, ten mucha psicología, pues hay quien suele brindarte mucho cariño aparente, y cuando le das la espalda te pone malísimo el ambiente. ¡Ciérrala! Yo me voy a despojar con esa batalla, para que todo lo malo de mi cuerpo se vaya. Si no lo sabré yo. Yo me voy a despojar con esa batalla, para que todo lo malo de mi cuerpo se vaya. No te dejes engañar, y mucho menos confundir de quien habla por hablar y quien miente por mentir. Te quiero mucho, mi vida, si lejos estoy más te quiero, y por eso desde aquí te canto mi son entero. A despojarse, ciérrala. Yo tengo así una vida llana, porque me limpio, señores, con 20 batallas, para que todo lo malo de mi cuerpo se vaya. Me limpio, me baño, me despojo y lo pongo de adorno para alejar los malos ojos, chicos. Todo lo malo de mi cuerpo se vaya. Le pongo mi ofrenda espiritual y le siento mi vela, mi ángel de la guarda, para que todo lo malo de mi cuerpo mi abuela, oye, tiene una muñeca vestida de azul, esa es de Maya Jesús, para que todo lo malo de mi cuerpo se vaya. Que se vaya, que se vaya. Oye, que mi cuerpo se vaya. Se vaya, de mi cuerpo se vaya, de mi cuerpo se vaya. Ay, que los malos ojos sí, sí que se vayan, la fuerza del pensamiento también que se vayan. Carucan, ven a despojarme en la playa, hazme un despojo bien fuerte con la 20 batalla. Si no tienes esa hierba, hazlo con la muralla, o le pides permiso, ¿sabes? Pa' coger ciguaraya. Oye, que ya, pero que...
Well, for me, a most enjoyable couple of hours, and thank you for your contribution to it. This is from an LP called Number One in Cuba, Lucrecia y su Orquesta, and hello to Harold in Oslo. Thanks for the email.